Greetings, you saddleback lagax. I hope you're doing well. My name is Graham, and welcome to the Crack-A-Pack here on LRRMTG. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, spread the good word of people who like talking about magic. Today, we are going to be opening a pack of Oath of the Gatewatch, which was given to us by Bobby at Magfest, or from Magfest. FR period. Bobby from Magfest. This was released in 2016. I don't know if we've been to Magfest since 2016, but maybe we were. Perhaps this was handed to us in person at Magfest in 2016 or 2017. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, let's tear the corner off the pack and fail miserably at opening the rest of it. There. First up, we've got Ancient Crab. 1 blue for a 1/5 crab. That's all it does, but you know what? It's damn good at it. I'm glad we talked. Expedite. When you need your crab to go fast. It's 1 red mana for an instant. Target creature gains haste until end of turn, and you draw a card. Just imagine the crab. Zoom! Surely you would use Expedite on something that's not a crab, but I don't know, maybe you really got to get in there. Searing Light is next. It's a single white mana for an instant. Destroy target attacking or blocking creature with power 2 or less. They were printing something similar to this, if not literally this, fairly regularly for like a few sets running there. And then they just sort of stopped. Now we're on like the Searing Barrage, like the toughness 4 or greater thing. Interesting. White instant speed combat removal, sort of rolling in cycles. And the thing is, this was always like, yeah, I guess I should run a Searing Light. Like, no one ever liked it, even though it worked, it did its thing. Medium. Loam Larva. A 1 and a green for a 1/3 insect. When Loam Larva enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land, reveal it, and shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. And like every single time I would forget that part. I'd be like, oh yeah, Loam Larva, yeah. All right, cool. Get it in the deck, shuffle up, here we go. Turn 2, Loam Larva. Go get my land, put it in my, wait, what? On top of the, oh. I mean, if you really needed it, you could do it, but it just sucked. Not the card. The card's fine. If you know what it does, the card is fine. If you've actually read it with your human eyes, or, you know, listened to it, to someone describing to you what the card says, then, you know, as long as you really understand what it does. If you don't, like me, then you overestimate it. Unnatural Endurance is a single black mana for an insect. Insect? Nope, that's the insect. Unnatural Endurance is an instant, which is a totally different beast, in that an instant is not a physical beast, but it does have Devoid. This card has no color. It only casts for black mana, but it has no color. This was really neat. I know that this round of Zendikar was maligned at the time for, you know, largely valid reasons, but I liked Devoid. I thought that was really interesting. This card continues, by the way. Target creature gets +2/-0 until end of turn, regenerated. This is also something that they've tweaked a bunch of times with the creature gets indestructible, or the creature dies, but then it comes back to play. You know, various different power levels. They don't really do regenerate anymore, but that was this variant for this set. And it was good. But you know what's funny? I haven't looked ahead. I don't know what the rare is, but I'm betting that this card is the one most likely to show up in cubes, because it's Pulse of Mirasa. It's 2 and a green for an instant. Return target creature or land from a graveyard to its owner's hand. You gain 6 life. I just see it show up in cubes a lot. It's just handy to be like, you know what, I'll spend 3 mana, I'll get a thing back from my graveyard, I'll gain 6 life, this will keep me in the game, this will let me actually get there. Pulse Mirasa is good stuff. Stalking Drone is 1 and a green for a 2/2 Eldrazi drone with Devoid. And for colorless, Stalking Drone gets +1/+2 until end of turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. This was a totally fine inclusion in a colorless focused deck, but was not one of the better ones. There were some very strong colorless, like, cards with colorless activated abilities. Like there was a black one that pumped its power and gave it menace, I think, and you know, there was several different ones. This one was fine. You make it a 3/4 for only 1 extra mana, right? So bear with upside. Sure. Get on in, Stalking Drone. Cinder Hellion. Oh, heck. 4 and a red for a 4/4 trample Hellion. When Cinder Hellion enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target opponent. All right. If you're going to spend 5 mana on something, it's a 4/4, it's got trample, you get to dome them a little bit. Sure, why not? Now, we have an absolute wastes of a card. This is me, a comedian. It's wastes. So this was the colorless variant of a basic land. People have demanded it for years. This one is by Jason Felix, this particular art, and it looks like dead coral, which is kind of sweet. But anyway, you had to draft these. You couldn't just add these to your deck. You had to pick them up as you went around, and this was one of the ways that you would generate colorless, specifically colorless mana for things like Stalking Drone. So, very cool. Dwar Isle Avenger, 4 and a blue for a 3/3 Sphinx with Surge, which said you may cast this spell for its Surge cost if you or a teammate has cast another spell this turn with flying. If you had 5 mana, you could play a 2-drop and this, or you could just play this. And the other one seemed like more efficient mana. And you were a teammate, because they were really pushing Two-Headed Giant for this pre-release, if I recall correctly. I think we did an episode of Friday Nights where Cameron and Alex are wearing one sweater, and I think it was for this, if I recall correctly. I just know that Two-Headed Giant was a big thing around this point. So, hey, if you can get a 3/3 Flying Sphinx for 3, awesome. A 3/3 Flying Sphinx for 5? Yeah, this is probably fine. Ooh, now this is a high pick. Spatial Contortion. 1 and a colorless for an instant. Target creature gets +3/-3 until end of turn. Almost always just a removal spell. Just a 2 mana, give something -3 and kill it. Occasionally, if you had something with 4 or higher toughness, you could get through with like a bunch of extra damage, but generally this was just a very efficient removal spell. And so far, spoilers, gonna probably be my pick, but we'll see how the rest of the uncommons and the rares shake out. Step Glider, 4 and a white for a 2/4 elemental with flying and vigilance. You know, flying and vigilance on a creature like this with big toughness, it really proved itself in Ixalan block, but this was probably also pretty okay. It has an activated ability as well. For 1 and a white, target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it gains flying and vigilance until end of turn. So yes, that's very efficient. That's fairly cheap to activate, all things considered. And if you get creatures with counters on it, then maybe this will just end the game. Still not going to take it that highly. That's what this set was. It was odd. Weapons Trainer is red-white for a 3/2 human soldier ally. Ally is very underpowered compared to original Zendikar block. Other creatures you control get a +1/+0 as long as you control an equipment. You just have to control an equipment. It doesn't have to be equipped. It doesn't have to be equipped to this creature. You just got to control it. So that's all right. 3/2 for 2. A little harder to cast. Weapons Trainer was fine. And our rare, ooh, we have a Hissing Quagmire. Did that bog just make noise? It's probably fine, let's not worry about it. Hissing Quagmire enters the battlefield tapped. You tapped for black or green, and for 1 black-green, Hissing Quagmire becomes a 2/2 black and green elemental with death touch until end of turn. It is still a land. The creature lands were pretty cool. Hissing Quagmire is a nice one. I do like it. I've got a swamp and a core ally to round out the pack. And that's going to be a whole pack of Oath of the Gatewatch. In draft, I think I would be taking Spatial Contortion here. Hissing Quagmire is pretty cool. It's also the most expensive card in the pack. It's a little bit over $1. The whole pack is a little over 2 something. This is weird. The second most expensive card in this pack is the Wastes by Jason Felix at 55 cents. There's a different other Wastes also by Jason Felix that is worth 5 times as much. In fact, it's the same art, but it's the one that's not full art. Weirdly, the not full art one is worth more because it was only in the Oath of the Gatewatch bundle packs. It was the only place that you could get the not full art Wastes. Odd. But yeah, it goes Hissing Quagmire, Wastes, and then basically everything else in the pack. But I will take Spatial Contortion and I will kill your creature, because that's what you do in draft. Hey, thanks, Bobby from MagFest. Appreciate this pack of Oath of the Gatewatch, and I appreciate also you watching it. Everything we do is brought to you by you. at our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. We got a store where we sell stuff. We got a Discord. Check that out sometimes. If you want to send us a pack, you can do that to the address that you see here. I'm doing everything in a different order, which is just going to confuse the editor, which is probably Matt. Shoutouts to Matt. James was here, and thanks everybody for watching. There, I covered all the bases. Goodbye.